We met before in snippets of Paramahansa Yogananda's lectures in 1943. We encountered each other before, certainly a long time ago, in the core of the ether where we were created as souls. We were all asleep under the shroud of God's wisdom until He awakened us. We distanced ourselves from Him, akin to the prodigal son in the Bible, and forgot our divine kinship. We became strangers after leaving our home in God, becoming lonely travelers of destiny on this earth. Do you perceive how far you have wandered and why you are wandering? Many incarnations have passed, and though it's hard to say how many, certain experiences, places, and faces occasionally evoke an inner sense of familiarity. Whispers of past knowledge emerge. Every soul is omniscient, but the limited nature of the ego, identified by the present name, family, and environment, confines it. On the day the soul remembers its divine origin, consciousness will live again in the great mansion of the Spirit, and you will know everything in the Spirit just as you know your small plot, home, and family. It's a wonderful experience to recognize someone you knew in past incarnations, someone with whom you walked the same path of life. In my family, I encounter those I knew in past lives, and occasionally, I meet others known to me from previous incarnations, like childhood friends. Even if they have nothing in common with my current life, they are souls I knew even before leaving India. Upon arriving in Boston, I was aware of many true friends from past lives that I would meet again here. I distinctly recognize those I knew before when I encounter them in this life. For some, I affirm that I met them again because we were together before. I ask why they waited so long. I seek those who should come here to be with me in God's work, calling out to them every day. Where are you who walked with me before? Suddenly, I see a face in the crowd and think to myself that there is someone who heard my call. As I look at their faces, I can't help but think that somewhere in the distant past, they heard my voice, and the call of that voice brought them here. Why else, among millions, were they inspired to come if not that God chose for them some souls, those slightly awakened from the sleep of ignorance that veils the memories of past lives? I stop and think, yes, I know what he's saying. Somewhere, I've heard his voice before. It's not strange to me. I've never seen my usually reserved guru so animated as when we met. I instantly knew who he was. And he knew more than I knew, as Krishna said to his beloved disciple, O Arjuna, that many births have been experienced by me and by you. I am familiar with all of them, although you do not remember them. I can never forget the joy of recognizing the Master in that first meeting. Never in my life have I met anyone as great as he lived. The Spirit of God was very humble and also very severe. If you associated with him as a friend, you would never have felt timid around him. But if you went to him as a disciple, woe to you if you could not accept. Incisive discipline. He never dealt with his words, he worked with his thoughts. Many could not endure his rigor, but I rejoiced when I saw that he was clearing all the wrong thoughts from my mind and filling me with divine wisdom. Such a wonderful source of wisdom he was, for when you truly love God, you know everything he knows. The Master was a true lover of God. Many lives were needed to build the mansion of friendship, music. So in a certain sense, you are a stranger traveling alone through this world, not someone you think is yours. Is yours, isn't it true? No one belongs to another, Our karmic destinies each have their individual course and no one can own or control anyone, but in a different sense, you are not alone in this world. There are some intimate relationships that endure and from which we draw support and joy. Who are these souls near you are not always those born in your family, but those with whom you feel an inner bond of deep friendship. For example, there are those around me here in the ashrams whom I have nurtured. With my ideals, they reflect my thoughts and my perceptions. They are considerate of me, and I of them. I have planted my life in them, and the divine friendship we share is an eternal bond in God. The foundation of friendship is not guaranteed in one life. Many lives are needed to build the mansion of friendship. It is built with souls you have known before, life after life. That is why among the crowd Jesus called his disciples one by one those he had known before. They met again in the bosom of the eternal friendship. Recognizing those you have known before. How can you recognize those you have known before in a crowd of strangers? Sometimes there is someone you feel on the first encounter that you have known for a long time, others whom you have never felt close to. No matter how much you associate with them, if you are free from prejudice and not deluded by sexual attraction, and you find souls whose faces and personalities attract you much more strongly than others, it is likely that you knew these souls before. A little test will also help determine who are the true friends of the past. You may have many supposed friends and they will tell you that you are wonderful and agree with everything you say. These people want something for you for their own benefit. True friends want nothing from you except the joy of your presence. Sometimes the test of friends is how they behave with you when you do something that happens to wake up or contradict them. Those who are yours will never be vindictive or abandon you. Even if there may be disagreements, those who were your true friends and other lives will have an unconditional love for you. No matter what you do, they will always be your friends. Anyone who loves you unconditionally is someone you have encountered before. Such friends are the ones you should also strive to be. When examining who your friends from past lives are, you can identify them by the shared harmony. As you consciously focus on developing a genuine friendship with someone, you find that you begin to understand how that person will feel or respond even before they react. If you can do this in a short period, certainly, you will recognize that person from before by some signs. These are indicators that reveal who your longtime friends are. It's good to be friends with everyone, but it's not reasonable to expect everyone to become your friends unless they have passed those tests that some fail. Offer love and consideration to those who fail, but be aware that they are not ready for your friendship. Avoid letting your heart or feelings be hurt by those who are not ready for true friendship. The building of the mansion of friendship must be based on solid foundations. If there is disagreement with friends and you lose their friendship because of it, it means those connections were not true friendships. You should not try to build the mansion of friendship on the unstable ground of these relationships. Most people are self-centered, seeking to please others only for what they can get in return. These people are convenience-driven individuals. Never sacrifice your free will or compromise your principles and ideals for self-gain. Stick to the right principles of sincerity and consideration. Be genuine and sincere, and friendship will develop steadily. I remember a conversation with the Master about sincerity. I argued that sincerity was everything, but he replied that sincerity, combined with consideration, was everything. He presented a scenario where a friend he hadn't seen in years entered his house on a rainy day. I thought it was okay, but the master pointed out that it would have been more pleasant if he had been considerate enough to take off his muddy boots before entering and ruining the carpet. I agree that, no matter how well you think you know someone, it is crucial to soften the relationship with good manners and consideration. True and lasting friendship results from this attention, making it a precious gem worth preserving. Being reckless is harmful to friendship. I deeply value friendship and avoid associations with those who flatter, knowing that these friendships will eventually fall apart, proving to be a waste of time. Take time for them, always be cautious of flattery. It's good to encourage others with heartfelt compliments, but insincerity in flattery is a poison that destroys the soul of both the giver and the receiver. If someone prefers flattery over love, they don't deserve the friendship of those who give love rather than flattery, and those who give flattery don't give love. If you surround yourself with people of genuine sincerity, consideration, and love, you will attract those you've met before. Otherwise, you'll never find your true friends. You have to rid yourself of all hypocrisy and insincerity and never intentionally hurt anyone. Never antagonize your friends or give them reasons to be angry. Never abuse or take advantage of your friend. Never give advice unless asked, and when you do, do it with sincerity and kindness without fearing the consequences. Friends help each other with constructive criticism, and being able to endure criticism is one of the greatest virtues I learned from my guru. I always appreciated constructive criticism and never sought revenge against those who unjustly criticized me, nor did I feel offended by them because I realized that even through our enemies, God tests us. Isn't it so when Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do"? He was exercising divine compassion and understanding through such a life and example. We know how kind and loving the Heavenly Father is. The great reflect the nature of God and gain His friendship. The great man doesn't consider himself great. Those who claim to be great are not, and those who are great are too busy being great to think about their greatness. Besides, no matter how wonderful you may think you are, as soon as you proclaim it, everyone wants to prove you wrong. Otherwise, the key is to be honest, live it in your life, never try to deceive others. A fake rose can never be a real rose, and a real rose will spread its fragrance no matter how much it's crushed. So never pretend to be what you're not. If you selfishly show off in front of others, the world will eventually leave you behind, and don't try in any way to deceive God. In the mistaken notion that you can deceive Him, you only deceive yourself, for He is only behind your thoughts. If you are not sincere with Him, He will depart. He comes only to those who are humble and true devotees. When you love Him, you will know Him, and you will realize that He is fully present in every soul, whether that soul is covered by a personality of coal or diamond. God is equally present in both, but the diamond-like mentality of the saint reflects God more fully. There is no joy comparable to the joy that occurs when you have won the friendship of God, and it is wonderful to share this joy with others. Just as a cup overflows when filled with milk and more is poured into it, divine friendship makes love overflow. When you truly love God, you can genuinely love others. Your perception of souls is pure like a crystal mirror, reflecting whoever comes before you as they truly are. Many years ago, I met George Eastman, the inventor of Kodak. Outwardly, he seemed as cold as steel, well known for his philanthropy. Like other wealthy men, he undoubtedly had reasons to question the motives of people he met. However, during our 2-hour visit, he saw a different Eastman, the real Eastman, because I understood him and knew him on the plane of sincere friendship. The next day, he sent me a camera that I still have today. When you unconditionally love your friends, you will see that divine friendship in them. In my earthly father and in so many souls on this path, I have found this kind of friendship. One day, the friend of all will come to reside in that mansion of friendship, and as you develop a true divine friendship, one day you will love everyone as Christ was the friend of all. Please pray with me, O Lord, in the noble character of true friends is your wisdom, in their laughter is your great smile, in the sparkle of their eyes, you are looking at me, in their voices, you are speaking to me, and in their love, you are loving me. Oh, peace, Amen. Excerpts from the book Journey to Self-Realization by Paramahansa Yogananda.